Hello?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. This is yeah, Patrick. Is Mark on the same computer as you, or were you guys joining from different locations?
No, different computers.
Okay, so we're still waiting for him, Inad, and Daisy to join. Is that right from your
Yeah,
side? Just Mark and
exactly.
Daisy?
Yes.
So where are you? Is it Natalie or Natalie? How's it pronounced here?
It's Natalie. It's Natalie, actually.
Okay, that's where are you? Where are you guys? Are you guys in Qatar or Dubai, or where are you guys?
No, I'm in Dubai. At the moment, I'm in Dubai.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we're across the country. I'm just figuring out the time zones, who's coming from what. So.
Yeah, it's 10 a.m. at my time.
Okay. Yeah, it's 11 p.m. my time, so we're a little bit out.
Oh,
Have you been working with Mark and Victor for a while, or are you guys both recent? I know we were just introduced to
mm,
you and Daisy as of late, so.
yeah, no, I've been recently, no, I know Mark maybe from a year ago, but now from a different, it's only from a personal level, but from a working level, we're just starting to work together now.
Okay. So you just started working for, once they relaunched Forever in Touch?
Yes, exactly.
So are you the one who's going to be asking most of the questions, or is Daisy? I wasn't very
It's
clear about
Daisy. Yeah,
either.
it's Daisy.
Okay. Okay, I'll give them a couple minutes to get on.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, hi Natalie. Hi Pat.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you? This is Ainad.
Yes, hi, Anna.
Yeah, كيفك اليوم ناتالي؟
منيحة. Safa, good.
Good, alhamdulillah.
So I know you had a problem with the original link. Should I resend to Mark and Daisy as well?
Well, I did have, it wasn't opening, when I tried to, so I don't know if you need to, I don't know if they were able to. How about you, Natalie? Were you able to open the link with no
Yes,
problem?
yes,
Okay,
I opened it, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why I couldn't hear, but will Daisy be joining us from the same location where you are, Natalie, or is she
No,
at a different office?
yeah, she's in Lebanon and I'm actually in Dubai now.
Oh, okay, okay. Mark is also in Dubai now, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
He just came yesterday, staying till Sunday.
yep.
Is that a bird in the background, Natalie? I've been hearing that the last few minutes.
Yeah,
Sure.
sorry. Yeah, sorry
No,
about that.
it's not a problem. I
It's a
was
bit
just curious.
annoying.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's pretty light. So.
it's a bit annoying.
Now, I believe Dubai is an hour ahead of Beirut. Okay, someone.
الو
Hello.
هاي ناتالي
Hi.
كيفك انا فايته از انتوني كرباج لانه فايته بالانتونيز كمبيوتر
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this Daisy.
Yes.
Okay,
Hi,
good
Nat.
morning, Daisy. Good morning, Mark.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Nad. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm great, great.
Good. Go ahead, Patrick. I think, are we still expecting anyone else to join us, or?
No, we're all, mainly we're all online now.
Okay. Okay. Great. Pat, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I just yeah, it's always when 6 people are on the line, I always try to be hesitant to make sure we don't talk over. So, how are you guys this morning?
Morning
All
Patrick.
good. Good morning.
Okay. Okay, so I think the easiest way to do this on our end is essentially, I think it sounds like it's going to be more Daisy. Have you essentially drive and, ask questions to let us fill in any blanks you potentially have. You guys
All right.
essentially want to drive the bus here, so.
Okay.
So first off, Daisy, I never had the chance to send you the short video regarding the tagging or segmentation. Is that a good starting point to kind of show how that's set up in a general way?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, let me pull this over here. And yeah, any questions during, just let me know. I just know we've had these discussions before, at least with Mark, so I don't want to be repetitive and go through what's not needed. So the tagging system is once again, it's set up basically as a way to organize what's happening. Most companies, they don't care about 1,000 different details and statistics. They all want to have what they actually care about looking at. So the point of the tagging is to be able to label the rest of the system. If you want to say, for instance, I want to see people who came from Canada, people who visited 5 times, any kind of segment that's important to a company. It's a simple way to color code the rest of our system to see the color of what the statistic means and not just read a long explanation.
Okay.
So I'm just going to show a quick example of this, very straightforward. If you wanted to, for instance, choose a label to look through a person who went to contact page on your particular page, you assign a color, and then you basically choose. In this case, we wanted to click on. I'm not sure I have this in our testing module, but this basically lets you, in this case, choose a number. We're looking at people who came at least 4 times. From here, this visitor value system, was that clear to you, Daisy, or do you want me to walk through that again? I guess the relationship here. Okay, so the visitor value system is basically every time someone goes to the contact page, you can increase the value of that customer by any particular score. It's optional. You don't need to use it when you use tagging for labeling, but it comes down.
No,
Hello? Are we good? You guys can still hear me? I heard you cut off for a second.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so the main case here comes down to, if you're a retail site, let's say you're a site that you have either people who come and purchase or people who don't purchase, and you want to consider a customer more valuable who, for instance, came to your site and almost purchased something but hasn't yet. You don't have a firm value for how valuable they are to your site because they haven't bought anything. But you can say every time someone visits and enters the page where they're going to purchase, you could say this visitor's value keeps increasing. So if we create this, let me choose. If we create this tag here, and once it's created here, if I want to look through through the rest of the system and take a look at the color coding of traffic, it's just an easy way to organize it. So I created it's searchable through here, and then when we watch the video in different views, the colors are listed throughout. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and here's where the colors. So it's just an organization system because our biggest issue we've realized through this product marketing-wise is every company has 4 or 5 things they really want to see. They don't want to see the rest. So that's why we've structured everything to kind of customize what the company wants to see that adds value and not just talking about it from a statistical standpoint. So.
Okay.
So yeah, once again on our end is, as far as I knew, the purpose and premise here is to clarify any other points you have or discuss business. Mark, do you have any other questions or issues, what our agenda should be for discussion? I was just here to basically fill your blank, so.
Okay. Mainly the objective of this presentation, Patrick, is to align all our team with what oopgo would be able to provide in means of analytics. We're still facing problems with understanding all the features. Once we're sitting with the client and in order to create the trustful scenario with the client, we need to be able to go over a full presentation about the conversions and the analytics on top of oopgo. So the client won't position it as another Google Analytics that he has to pay for. We've been trying to look into the presentations we were getting, but things were not clear enough for us until I knew last time from Justin that I should be logged into the development environment, where I think it's different now. What I prefer that, how I see this presentation happening is, now you created a tag which shows you how many people are going to the contact us page. I would love to know how would the client be able to act on that, and how would the client be able to check how to enhance and how to add traffic, or how to make people go more to the contact us or to any other page. I wasn't able to read all the analytics or to understand all the analytics within the system. It's a bit huge means of information in it.
Let me ask you, Mark, I think the easiest way to do this on my end, more than, digging into every detail of the dashboard, is do you have any, if you don't mind sharing, the type of companies, whether it's been retail or banking, to give an example use case to kind of demonstrate at least related?
It's a fashion retail. One is fashion retail.
Okay, let me pull up.
Where can I type to chat with you and type the link to the website?
Yeah, underneath. If you see underneath the.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Check it.
Okay, let me go there. Okay, so this looks, I haven't looked at, this is assuming a retail site, correct? So their main objective in their case is to purchase.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to run through, I suppose, you know, the business, because when you speak to clients, once again, when we got confused trying to explain every piece of analytic data, we've been going more on the premise of, you know, use case of how this would benefit exactly how you said in those cases. So I'll let you know for our retail, the biggest use case when we talk about tagging someone comes down to right now, let me see if I can figure out how to purchase on here. Right now, you know, this company obviously knows how many people are purchasing on their website, and they know the quantitative data from Google, such as this is how many people enter, this is how many people are purchasing. The best
Yes.
use case for retail we found is, let me go through this checkout process, being able to differentiate the levels of people who almost purchased. So if I were to create a tag, for instance, for someone who spent 5 minutes on the website, added to shopping cart, filled out information, and then left, that's an example of value for a company, because they would be able to, number one, understand how many of these visitors, you know, are missed opportunity they could potentially seize. Let me go through this one. That they could potentially seize and close by saying, here's how many people almost purchased, here's the roadblocks that they encountered in each case. That's the usage of both the analytics and the view. And from there, if we label their visitor within our tagging system, we can also, they can take a look at the numbers of people who have this and figure out how to solve that problem. And in cases where they entered in information, I can't find the purchase here. If someone entered in their email address and other information, we're storing all that as well. So the company can make the choice to send an automatic follow-up even if the person didn't click submit on the purchase. Does that make sense, Mark?
Automated what?
Yeah, because we're storing, where do I go to purchase here? Add to shopping cart. We definitely have cash on delivery. I can't see on their site. If you guys see, I'm missing something. I'm just trying to go to the purchase part.
Yeah, just after the shopping bag. Just add the shopping bag and then it's the purchase.
Oh, select the size. That's what our problem was. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So what I meant is, in this case here, if a client is going to fill out information here, John Smith, they enter in their information. They spend a couple minutes here, and let's say after filling out some information, they happen to leave the site. Usually with any analytics or their normal system, if someone doesn't click buy now or submit, they don't know what they're typing in before leaving or purchasing. So this is, in our case, the reason we came up with these customizing these different form views is this company would probably only want to create custom snapshot of how many people filled out information. In cases they filled out information, what's their contact information? And they would be able to contact them directly, these missed opportunities who have a much better chance of closing than just looking at normal data and saying, you know, 1,000 people haven't purchased this day. So that's, I guess, the mentality behind, you know, this is something that takes a few hours to customize per site as opposed to doing it raw, but that's the details about creating a statistic such as them being able to see all of the purchasing who didn't purchase. We're having pretty open-ended discussions and having the company say, what more do you want for insight, as opposed to just having a million records of information that's not going to add value. That's kind of how we've been selling it on our end.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense now. What about the competitive advantage, Patrick? How can we know more about this service?
Okay. So from the default, you know, the general premise of the, you know, the competitive analysis is to monitor information happening on a client side. So what we have within our dashboard, by default, what we're grabbing is we're grabbing the social media information as well as the website speed and traffic rank. We're storing this information. You know, the issue with this as well is every company is going to want to know a few particular competitors. Once they basically benchmark them, the dashboard would be updating every month the differences, the difference in changes. So that's, you know, the confusing part here for our demos is we're not automatically storing this for every site on the internet. We're only keeping the most updated information. But once they choose what they want, we would benchmark and they would be able to compare what happened last month to this month. But the biggest issue with this as well, same as the analytics, is every company's been telling us, here's the 4 or 5 things I want to see. So we're keeping it very exploratory, where if they said in this case, I want to know when they change their title, instead of online fashion shopping, every time they change this, I want to be notified. We're customizing that in each case and saying, okay, when they change their title here from online fashion shopping, we're going to list this information as well. But it's too much information to basically create a default there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Let me show you one more example for retail while we're on this. This is a great example here. This auto search, because a lot of companies have told us, okay, you have all this extra information. Once again, how do I use it for effectiveness? We don't want to watch everything. In the case of auto search here, right now a company doesn't have any idea. If I type in glasses here and I leave the website, the only time they know what happens is when I click the search button or I click an actual link. When this happens, they know that I chose sunglasses to go here. But they've never had a way of knowing, if, for instance, if the targeting isn't clear here, if I press glasses and I don't like any of these options, so I keep changing it, to red glasses, to blue glasses. This is an example of something that retail sites want a lot more insight into because they've never been able to understand what people are looking for and how well their search function is set up. So those are the 2 cases, is conversion as well as the search. That's been the biggest point of interest for retail. That's actually a good example here, is I put in another word with glasses and nothing gets searched underneath. So in their case, they would definitely want to improve it. And if I type in red glasses, we don't want nothing to show. They would want information to show. And if a lot of customers are filling that in, they would search through records, understand what to solve, and of course, increase their conversion rate as a result. So.
Patrick, in order to know those information, we should, from the at the earliest stage, we should create a tag for the search bar, right?
Yeah.
And then you customize it. So this needs customization from your side. So the client has to specify those details. And then we tag the search bar. And how does it show within oopgo? Does it show like as per our request, or it gives push notifications to us that some people are asking for this, or are searching for that, or doing this?
Yeah, the way we've been doing this, how it works is we would, a company says 5 or 10 main KPIs they want, such as if they say, I want to know the search record. We're customizing that internally within the tagging system, so that's labeling their individual traffic. From there, if they want to, whether or not they just want to first take a look at what's happening there, if they want to, let me see if I have anything tagged here. They can look at those individual cases. They can get the IP information, the any other data they filled in, and if they wanted email address, we would add this analytic directly on the dashboard. We would add this analytic directly on the dashboard, and we would set it up within a reporting engine where instead of general traffic source breakdown, we would say here information entered in, where it would have the numbers in bulk, so to speak. So yeah, the biggest thing about this is the customization. We've learned, at least, it is very necessary because every company, as opposed to playing around with the dashboard, they do want these few things they each want which add value. It's easiest for us to set them up and then not have so many options to confuse them, just like you said. Just set up exactly what they want to see and integrate accordingly.
Okay, and for the customization to happen, we need to go through the setup process. Pricing, right? The pricing of the setup depends on the customization needed within each website, right?
Well, yeah, the 2 hard costs is it's hourly for setup, so it's one time setting up in advance, depending on how many customizations they want. Then the other hard cost is, of course, the actual amount of data records once that's done on a variable basis. So, you want to go through that process, Mark?
Which process?
The process, I guess, of assuming that you had a client interested on what the steps are for us internally?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, no problem. The step 1 on their end is they would need to add the code directly on their website. As you guys, I'm not sure how much you're with the technical end, Mark, but this takes a few minutes on there. So they JavaScript tag. From there, once they have that tag, they don't do any manual effort. We would customize on our end, an average of 3 weeks time, to be safe with these, to make sure that everything shows up for exactly what they want to see. Once we finish customizing, we would send them the actual dashboard, and then when they go in to add tags, as opposed to having so many raw options. In this case, they would have a tag that says information entered into search. We would be customizing these KPIs to what they want. We would be customizing the reporting engines and setting up what we can to make life easy for them, you know, as opposed to struggling around. So 3 weeks is a pretty good estimate there, unless, of course, an industry wants a lot of customization. If they want to integrate it with a CRM or they want to integrate with something else, it's all feasible. It just comes down to what they want to accomplish, and the hard cost is just hourly on our end. So.
Okay.
Yeah, on that note, just to bring up a couple other use cases as well. For other than retail, you know, we just brought up these 2 cases that have to do with increasing conversions and basically closing more direct sales. The other 2 use cases in most cases are, you know, usability as a whole. If someone wants to look at, for instance, 1 out of every 100 or 1 out of every 500 videos on a particular page, they might want to monitor just to understand what's confusing based on what people are doing without taking such a data approach to it. So that's just a usual, you know, use case and advantage, because a lot of these companies are doing manual testing right now where they're hiring people to go on a computer and they're asking them questions. But the problem is it's not in a real environment, you know. If you ask me, hey, do I smoke? I could lie if I'm being asked. But then if you put them to the real test, you know, it's a much more accurate indicator of what problems they have. So this usability, and for banking, what's big in the industry is for dispute resolution type as well. A bank may be interested in, okay, I don't want all these statistics. All I want to know is if a customer says, hey, they said I transferred $500, they said my site's cheating them, I can create those records for the bank to look at those individually and say, here's what actually happened. We have the firm record, you know. So that's what it comes down to, is just focusing on what they're interested in, pain point, and understanding how the capabilities are different from what they're used to.
Yes, can you please go over the bank example again?
Let me go to that exact example. So let's go to our fake site. Yeah, now let's say that this is a fake. Let's say that I log into my bank account, Hala, and I transfer $500. I have a deposit for $500 within a bank page. A lot of cases, customers might have a problem where they contact the customer support for the bank and they say, hey, I really transferred 5,000. You only credited me for 500. This is your fault. This is your problem. What the bank would be able to do in this case is, you know, from this view of having the whole customer history, is they would be able to go directly back to the time they actually went and answer that question themselves and say, okay, you know, John, let's take a look at what actually happened. And we know that they actually deposited 500, or if it's the bank's fault, it's their fault. So that's kind of the point of this customer view, is to use for servicing and to understand what actually happened as opposed to just guessing. And Google Analytics would give them one number. This person went to the page, you know. It's a lot more irrefutable, the disputes, when you can see what happens.
Mm-hmm. But this would require that the oopgo would be loaded within the online banking, you mean?
Yeah, in that case it would. In that case it would. We would have to add the script directly to the banking. They would, and that's just an individual case where they would be able to tie it into all their login data. They would be able to set this up to say the name because they already have that information stored.
But isn't that risky?
A lot of banks in U.S. are doing it. I don't know, you know, your market that well, but do you remember the competitor Tea Leaf, Mark? It was one of the 2 mentioned a long time ago.
Yes.
They currently have 23 of the top 25 banks in the U.S. using, you know, their services. You know, the differentiator is a bit watered down, but they're installing this in almost every large bank for this exact case, for dispute resolution and understanding what happened. So the risk just comes down to, you know, they want control of it. They obviously don't want us looking around ourselves, so we would customize it and they would have control.
Okay.
So that example just comes down to, you know, whether or not they'd want to show the customer they have this or whether or not they'd have it in their dispute department. It just comes down to having the capability to see what happened and use it accordingly, whether you want to let the customer know and for customer service, or whether only their dispute department says, here's what actually happened in that case. So that's kind of how we've went with all these enterprises. They all want a few particular things. So in your case, you tell them about a few pain points and you know, mention what you want to solve in each case depending on what their need is. So.
Okay. One more question, and then I'm done, and I will leave it to Daisy and Natalie to ask their questions.
Okay.
Can you show us, in the competitive advantage, can you show us how would the client be able to specify which campaign on another website has made the significant traffic increase compared to his website?
When you say which campaign, you mean which website, or you want to know if they do a campaign from another site, which one had the traffic change?
What made the website traffic boost?
Okay.
I don't want the channel. Yeah, because once I was discussing with Inad, and he mentioned that you can analyze a specific campaign or offer or anything that has driven traffic or that has boosted the traffic.
Yeah, that's not when it comes to campaigns. I think we can't know directly which one affected the traffic. What we can do is, in the cases of most campaigns for competitors, they have something within their source code, whether or not they add a banner.com if they have a new pop-up, and we would be able to basically tell you that I'm going to use this view. We would basically let you know that this change happened, and here was the total increase. We wouldn't be able to allocate that directly. So in this case, you would just know there was an increase, and you would be able to store what was changed on their website as a result. But we can't measure that to that depth of detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so this comes down to, it's not always the perfect answer, but it gives you the correlations. If you have a big jump increase and you see your social media went up and you see the traffic went up, and they happen to have a large campaign in most cases, it gives automated awareness to take a closer look, It's not going to be exact numbers because we're not tracking them directly, but if you're monitoring competitors, it's a lot easier than blindly looking around and getting hit with something, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Natalie and Daisy?
Okay, now for me, everything is clearer in my head, and if I have any more questions, I'll be just emailing you. My email is working now.
Okay.
That was Natalie, Patrick.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
For me, Patrick, I just want everything is clear, and the outcome and the customized reports are much clearer now. I have one more question for the recorded videos or the behavior of the users. Is there a way to export them to kind of an Excel or database report type? Meaning, let's say we have this number of users, they entered, let's say, for that much percentage entered for 1 minute or 2 minutes, etc., etc. Is there a way to export them to Excel file, as in the reporting for the analysis, the market analysis up there?
We have. I'm taking a look. I haven't been here in a minute for the format we have this in. So I believe by default we have the numbers. If you wanted to, so what you would want is the actual customer information, such as IP address, etc., attached to it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
exactly.
That's not in the default dashboard you would have access to, but that is a fairly straightforward request. As long as you to be honest, that would probably only take a couple hours on our end because we've done a lot of those scenarios where someone wants a particular piece. As long as you outlined exactly what you wanted to see, we would set that up in that exact way.
Okay.
So that
instead of doing it manually, then there's a way to export it in a shortcut database sheet so we can work on and analyze it.
Yeah, we have the functionality built in to export in Excel in different formats. It just comes down to changing what you want to see versus viewing data versus. So we would just define what you want to see. It would be listed under reporting engines, and you would export it. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, excellent. Okay, it's project based.
Yeah. Yeah, so the issue that comes down to whether or not the company wants to give you their personal information and sync it all. If they want to give you their personal information, you can get a lot more insight. If they want to see, I want to know the customer data. So that's why it's kind of open on our end. It's been easier to go step by step and not talk about, 10,000 different options on their part. Just say, what do you want to do with it? Let's spend a couple hours and do that. So.
Definitely, yes. That makes more sense. All right, thank you very much. Things are clear to me, and if I have also more questions, I'll definitely send you a request.
Okay, thank you. Mark, you have anything else?
Yes, can I go over one more question, please? If I have another website which is related to sports, where people will be bidding, or where people would be just bidding on games or bidding on players. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I wasn't sure if you're waiting. I wasn't sure. Go ahead. Yeah, someone's bidding on. Do you have the link by chance, Mark, or are you just bringing up a scenario?
No, it's a new website that we're working on.
Okay, go ahead.
But the question is, how would oopgo, how would be able to customize the per region, for example, what people are more interested in per region or per city in the world or per country, and then based on that, what are the most what are the big, who are the most spans in means of okay, the result, the objective, or let me tell you where I want to reach, so you tell me how we can reach there.
Okay.
I want to be able to take those information and go to the clubs and tell them which player is most wanted or is having the highest chance and means of bidding at all of those online. I'm not talking offline.
Okay, one more time. You want to know, you're having a bidding site and you want to track by region? Which fans, is this something you'd want to track by region to know people from this country or more? Was that the example?
Yes. Okay. By region, not only by region. I want to track it by city even, if I can, or by country, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, let me send you, something we should have sent you a while ago. I'm going to pull it up right now to send you. I'm going to send you the list. Have we sent you before all of the metrics that we store by default, Mark? Such as the city, the zip code, the area code, all those details that, we don't throw it all on the dashboard. Have we sent you that before in a format?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me go.
Please, can you resend them?
Yeah, I'm going to get it now. So, yeah, we store, I'll tell you right now all the geographical information stored. Give me 1 second, and I'll answer that question. So, where are we set? So, yeah, we're storing the city, the zip code, the latitude and longitude, a lot of those details. By default, we have it only listed by country and by individual city, but if you want to look at the city on the individual records, I believe we do show them here. So what you would do in this case is, let me see, this is our location. What you would do is you would create a tag. By default, we would display the city, the zip code, any other information you want. Then we would add this as a searchable record underneath here. Basically add a sub-filter to country for zip code or city or any other information. From there, you would be able to compare the statistics by doing what Daisy had mentioned, a report to see what's the difference in purchasing between this region and this region. So the tagging system, or just creating a filter in that case because we store it, would be the easiest way to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, we actually just added, might be of relevance, we added the company name that someone's visiting from very recently. So if you're registered from a particular internet use, if someone's works for Disney and they're using Disney's internet, we give that information as well. That's something that we just added. So I didn't realize we had a few requests in that regard. So I'm going to send you at the conclusion of our conversation all of the raw information we store. It's a lot of those details, and then just know that you can filter or organize by any of that information you see. It just, you don't want to use all.
That would be lovely.
Okay.
Okay, that would be lovely. Can you send them the soonest, Patrick, because I'm having a meeting with the client.
I'm going to send it probably while we're speaking. I guess. Go ahead.
Okay, one last question, please, is about the, let's suppose we want to load the oopgo under the Namshi website, the fashion-related website, which I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea about the costs there, to have an example, which I might be able to use in the during my meeting with the client? I'm meeting the client by tomorrow.
Okay, so you're talking about knowing if we could do a demo similar to we did with the Al Jamaria, right?
No, he's asking about the actual cost. that's to provide basically the service.
Are you talking about for just,
implementation plus, monthly maintenance? Then what we need to know, Mark, is an estimate of the number of page views per month, and that in general, of course, looking at the site also to assess all the degree and the level of
Hello?
customization that is needed. This will give us an idea. So if you have an
Hello?
idea at least about the page views, yes, we can give you a growth estimate.
Hello?
can you hear us,
Hello?
Mark?
Inad, I don't think Mark heard you.
Okay.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Mark? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Hello?
Yeah, Mark, can you hear me? Okay, maybe Patrick, what if you say
Mark,
it
can you hear
again?
me?
Maybe.
Hello?
Mark?
I think Mark lost.
Yeah, maybe he lost the audio contact.
So you were saying the pricing is based on the estimate of page views and the degree of level of customization that's needed in the outcome of the report?
This is correct. Not only of the report, is customization, is, what kind of information, what are the metrics, etc., how detailed, how deep. Normally,
Metrics and correlations, yeah.
yeah, of course, because this is what gives us an idea, basically, for us to be able to code directly and give you a firm number that is based. Because let me give you a scenario that happened recently with one of our clients here who initially stated, for example, that they have only 500,000 or less than 500,000 unique page views per month. So we gave a quote on that basis. Suddenly, once we implemented and installed the product, we discovered that their volume was close in the order of 10 million, which is grossly, different.
More than,
So
yeah.
we had to go back and revise our numbers, and a quote of maybe whatever the original number was, 3,500, suddenly rose to 10,000, which is three times bigger, just because of the volume. So if we have an estimate about the volume, we can base the quote and the price structure basically that we'll be following based on that, and depending on separate factors that we identify.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mark is
Mark,
back.
Yeah.
can you hear us now,
Mark.
Mark?
Yes.
Okay.
So I
So
missed
Mark-
the full conversation, I think. I was asking about the prices for setting up the website for setting up oopgo within this website. And Inad was telling me about the number of page views dependent on the number of page views. Let's suppose we have currently 3 million page views per month.
Okay. Did you receive that table that I resent actually today earlier? It would be
Yes.
yesterday for you.
Yes.
Yes. So you go, let me open it here on my end. You won't see it because I don't have control. Patrick, do you have that? Can you open it?
I mean, if he has the information, I don't know the number off the top. Yeah, I can find that 1 minute. But yeah, I'm sure. On a side note, Mark, I just sent you all of the metrics. Daisy, Mark, Natalie, I sent all of you the everything stored. So if you need anything clarified, anything
Yes,
that's
yes.
within that list can be displayed within the dashboard in any way you want, basically. So.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so Inad, you have the above 10 million, above 2 million page views.
Right.
The implementation starting at $12,000 and the
Right.
monthly
So-
plan is starting at
So
7,500.
how many millions did you give me the scenario?
3 million.
Okay, 3 million, probably close to that, probably close to 15,000, 15,000 for the implementation, and the monthly maintenance would be, close to the 10,000 per month mark, probably anywhere between 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, depending on, once we install the code initially we get an actual, page number views and we compute it. But grossly, we can say 15,000 implementation, original implementation, and close to 8,000, let's say, per month maintenance fees to continue to provide, the backup. Now, if immersion decided that, well, this is too much, etc., then there are other factors. Like we decide with them, we consult to say, okay, do you actually need all the information to be stored for how long? If it's essential for them to have all the information stored and retrievable, of course we have, it carries a cost of doing all that, and the cost figure is maintained at that level. However, if they say, well, we're not interested in keeping it, you can erase it once you get the data out, and we only want it available for on a monthly basis, of course that cuts down the cost. So instead of incurring a cost of $7,500, we might be able to reduce it to $5,000, for example, or $4,000 per month if they do not care about keeping all the data after they extract the numbers from it. So this is why there are so many variables. When we provide an estimate like this, we provide it, based on assumptions, few assumptions that are the usual. What we assume that merchant, that website, is interested in keeping, or conducting their business and be able to have a retrievable record of every interaction, etc. Because this is what we provide as a differentiator. We have that ability. Now, we don't always have to use it for any length of time. That would cut the cost, of course, for the end user.
Inad, I have a question for you. How long do you recommend that the information stays and
it depends. Some people, minimum 3 to 6 months normally. But some people, for example, in banking situations, financial brokers, etc., some of them would like to keep it for a full year as a minimum. And, we factor in, we add, because all this will add a cost of maintaining it and having it available all the time. Some websites are not interested in having it that long, and the default would be 3 months, 3 to 6 months, basically.
Okay, and definitely it's stored longer if you would want to keep,
of course,
if
you can keep it permanently.
Launch studies in waves. Yeah,
definitely. Okay. You can keep it for 10 years if you want.
I guess,
Okay.
Daisy, the only thing to understand from hard cost perspective is all these videos you see, they're all pieces of data. There's thousands of these that are being, so as long as you understand, if someone wanted to not see videos after 3 months and still want to keep general metrics, that's fine. That's where our hard cost lies. In order to create this, we do need that firm. So that's all. That's the main point there. So.
All right, and okay. And if we need an example or two for the videos, we can always keep them on the on retrieve them, exports, and then erase the whole data, the storage thing.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
And you can, some people, for example, to understand the functionality of their website, decide as an option to just pick a few samples, basically, of each category. For example, let's suppose on the conversion panel you did the study and found out that 35% of people who come to the website abandon, so leave the website without purchasing, without finishing, completing a transaction. So you would say, for example, let's look at a sample. Of course, someone who is having 5 million or 2 million or 500,000 access or page views on a monthly basis, they are not going to spend the time to look at the 5 million.
Of course, you would take the most relevant sample, definitely.
This is correct. If there is an issue with any particular customer, either for customer service or dispute resolution or anything else, of course you want to be able to retrieve that and you do it. But otherwise what you do is sample. Let's say you say, okay, let me look at 10 samples out of these 200,000 that seem to be having problems. You look at 10 or 20, it's up to you, or 5, and say,
Exactly.
yeah, say it
Just
looks like this is an issue that needs to be corrected. So you keep a sample, 1 or 2, to present it, for example, at a meeting or
Yes,
so.
to give it
But the rest
tangible
of them,
evidence.
yeah, correct. The rest of them, you don't care about just having numbers that are, at the end of the day, useless, basically, individually. But they are important, very important, individually, when you look at them for a specific reason, to show, to illustrate, to correct issues with the website.
Definitely, to track the behavior, yes.
Yes, definitely. You are utilizing all the data and getting the summary and, you know, analyzing it, of course, the data of the aggregate of the millions, but not necessarily wanting to see each and every visit.
Individually,
there is no time.
So Mark, did that answer your question, or did your approach to basically take an estimate beforehand because it's too difficult to ask them? Was that what you wanted to do, is basically take an estimate and guess with a firm number as opposed to having to relay?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Because I'm meeting with the client and I want to know at which numbers we're looking.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be, if it's, especially in the beginning, we'll be flexible. We'll be flexible with it if it's within the range. All you can do is guess there. In their case, like you said, 3 million is probably in that range. So last thought I'll just mention is some people, in the case of conversion, if they only want to add the code to particular pages for conversion, that's always an option because the hard cost is the data records. It doesn't need to be on the whole site. So that's all.
So if the client would take, for example, a sample of 50 to 150,000 page views per month out of the 3 million, and he can still use all the tags and everything within the system, right?
Well, only for that sample. So for that many people they have.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yes,
only for that sample, yeah. Okay. Okay, basically all is clear from to me.
Okay, Mark, let me ask you a question, Mark. Looking at the list of prices, what's your gut feeling, your initial feeling, looking at them? Do they fit generally into expectations of companies, businesses that are looking, you know, for this kind of service and data gathering and analysis and competitive, you know, studies in their areas? Are these reasonable prices that you can just take to an executive and say, you know, this is the rule, you know, with these prices, this is how much costs? What's your opinion?
Okay, first of all, for the prices, I'm pretty sure that it's a bit high for the region. We need to create the education curve, means of how people know more about the benefits of the software, and that's why my question was related to the package of 50 to 150,000, which is at around 1,800 per month, which we could use as a hook to hook clients in and let them try the service on some of the sections of their website. In means of information and the data that people would be getting and storing and analyzing, I don't see the numbers big once websites go with traffic and big numbers. But we need to get people to understand the system well and to know the benefits and the value of the system.
Of course, and yeah, your approach.
Yeah, I'm meeting a couple of clients from the banking sector, from the sports sector, and from the fashion retail sector, and I would definitely share their opinion about the prices. That's why I was asking about what are the prices we're looking at, especially that we need to cater to them at all cases. So I would start with going for the full implementation, and then if they find it much expensive, we start discussing alternatives, and that will be a good practice to know more about the sales of the product.
Good, good. Okay, yeah, this is reasonable, and this is how we approach it also. So, you know, because some companies do have a very large volume, basically, of visitors, and once they look at it, I mean, they have to make the decision if they are getting, you know, the value that they are getting is worth the money they are paying. And one way, if it's a big enterprise, usually there should be no issues and no problems. However, for smaller companies, it will be an issue. And for them, it's better to decide, you know, what areas, and like you are saying, start with a limited number,
Yes.
basically, and show them the value. This is what we call, and I did not send that to you. Normally, what we also propose is a pilot program where the first 3 to 6 months we do it on either a segment to one part of their website, we install the whole thing, or you know, on the whole website, but we limit it to the number of visitors as far as record keeping and analysis, etc. We might restrict it to 150,000 or 500,000, and you know, compute charge accordingly. Even give it at a discount, you know, initially for the first 3 months to show the value and come up with results that will educate them, like you were saying, and give them, illustrate basically how they can use it in the different ways. And normally after they do that, there should be no issues and no problems, because once they have the product, they, you know, they will utilize it. We will guide them how to utilize it to the best, to put it to their best advantage, and therefore it sells itself, because then you see value. If you are having increase in sales, increase in profits and benefits, you know, and you want to increase it, you know, further, it gives you an idea in your projections, basically, to know that if it raises your sales by 5%, it is significant, you know, to pay a few thousand a month for that purpose, etc.
Okay, yeah, one last point Mark mentioned. Daisy had asked for simplicity for any of these companies. If they did want metrics sent to, you know, some companies are going to say they don't have the bandwidth to use the tool itself. Daisy had asked about sending the IP address of people who performed a particular action. If you ever wanted to sell on the premise of just giving them information, that's going to take a lot less time for us to customize. If you told them, for instance, we'll give you the information of how many people filled out your form and left, and an individual record of what each of them filled out, we would be able to, as a service, send that individually. And that's just a particular approach that might be of interest for a company as opposed to using the tool. So.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, all is clear to me. Daisy, Natalie, you still have any questions?
No, I'm fine. I'm clear. Yeah.
I'm clear.
Okay, for I have seen, Patrick, that you are recording this session, so can you share with us this record so we can share it with other team members in Qatar and Kuwait to know more about the service?
Yeah, no problem. It'll take a couple hours. I'll send you the same secured type Vimeo link with password.
No worries, no worries.
Okay.
No rush in that, but just we can have, this would help us understand further make them understand further the software.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you that tomorrow morning our time, and any other questions, just let me know. Things should be more clear now. So.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Patrick. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, great. It has been a pleasure, you know, having you all on board here and taking the time basically to listen about, you know, the features of oopgo's product. And I hope that with further understanding, we can start, you know, taking it on the road basically, and educating some of the companies to bring them basically to the current age of conducting business on the web, utilizing all these advanced intelligence tools to put them, to make them work to their benefits ultimately. And please feel free at any time you have any questions, email it to us. It doesn't matter to whom. You can always email me with any question, and I'll forward it to whomever will take charge in answering them. And let's hope that in a few weeks we would have acquired a few customers in that region, and that would be the best way basically for all of you to practice also and take it further to the next step.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much, Inad.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Inad and Patrick, for your time. We look forward as well to start getting clients on board. Thank you for the patience, and now I think that things will start moving a bit faster. If we have any questions, we'll be sending any questions accordingly. Kindly just you have to bear with us at the startup of this project, of this software, because I believe clients will have lots of questions which we will be forwarding to you until we will be able to create the knowledge base at our side as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, talk to you guys soon. I'll send you the recording tomorrow. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.